Posterity, I'm sure, doesn't care, but it may be interesting to our children and their children. Maybe some descendant will even look at it 150 years from now. At that time, the tape may be a little fuzzy. So, to those of you who are watching in 2136, drop us a self-addressed stamped envelope and we'll send you a replacement. Chem-Pro was started by Ed Mooney and myself, Helmut Schilling, in 1963. When we prepared this literature, we were on the right track and moving up. Our people were some of the best in the business. Jack Drew, a good mind and a good personality, tops in his field. Jack now has his own consulting business. Gus Ginder, when he designed something, you could be sure it would not fall down. Gus was a pilot during the war. We didn't know it, and he didn't talk too much, and it was only after he died that we read in the paper that he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. Phil had another heck of a war record. Within the company, he handled many assignments. On his own, he edited several well-known technical books. George was one of my early customers. I was impressed, finally hired him. A young tiger. Didn't last too long, but left his mark. Now has his own consulting business. Andy Carr. Well, I don't know about the year 2136, but in our time, right now, he's one of the world's foremost extraction experts. Roland Bevins, a great mind. Graduate, MIT, Yale. A real... Chem-Pro, 1986. By now, we had already sold to Harsco Corporation, and it's close to the end. But now let's try and go back to the beginning. For me, it all started here. 119 Del Glen Avenue, Lodi, New Jersey. Mooney Brothers. Actually, Ed Mooney could give a better historical background from this time period. From there, we moved to Patterson Avenue in Little Falls, New Jersey. Mooney Brothers headquarters. This was on or about 1959 or 60. Maybe 61. The area looks pretty much the same now as it did then. Chem-Pro Corporation was started at that time. It was our first effort into national marketing. Here's Walter Mooney, the current president of Mooney Brothers. Some of the people from that time, and still friends of ours, should get honorable mention here. Joe Purcell was sales manager, and Jim Clinton was controller. Pine Place, North Corwell, New Jersey. Here's where the Shillings lived at that time. Mark, your cameraman, was 5 years old. We bought the house from Dolph Leitner, who became a very good friend. The first Chem-Pro office, 84 Johnson Avenue, Hackensack, New Jersey. The building and business were owned by Dolph Leitner, who gave us the use of an office and his secretary for $25 a month. In the background is Halocarbon Corporation, one of our first customers, who still is a customer today. Here's what the office, our first office, looked at that time. Ed was chief engineer and head of the drafting department. I ran the office, switchboard, and shipping department. Our sales that first year were approximately $30,000. Now it was time to move up to the west side. Hanover, Forest Avenue, 2,000 square feet. We had extra room, and at that time, John Arix and Shelley Osterwald joined us, and Amsco Sales Corporation was formed. This is the inside. Also at that time, Barbary Patterson joined us, Joe Marone, and then back here, our machine shop was located. We purchased that from Grand Line and marketed a number of products under the Grand Line name nationally. These products are still sold today. From here, we moved to our final location at Daniel Road, Fairfield. At this point of time, we had sold the business to Patterson-Kelley Division Harsco Corporation. The upcoming sign marks the launching pad of my final assault on the president of Patterson-Kelley. We had discussed how everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Got into our cars, backed out, and I smashed into his brand new car. This historic event was promptly noted and recorded in Michigan. Inside of our offices, Kathy Meyer, our longtime secretary. This was one of the biggest systems we ever built, Bristol Laboratories. Beautiful job. Our conference room. Frankie Rivera doing a hula.
We'll keep that cough.
Keep that cough?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is just today's mail coming in.
What's today's date?
That's where that mail came in 1969, but I'm getting to it now. I'm getting to the bottom of all the old mail.
What's today's date?
Today's date is June 21st, 1985. God, how time flies. I do have to answer the mail from 1969. Cy Borst, a longtime employee. That was Harlan Kennedy and Cy. And here's our machine shop.
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
So what is this? Are you testing this out?
I'll make it a little documentary. Good.
That was Vic Abbott, a real fine lab technician. And here's our laboratory and pilot plant.
Mr. Powell.
Limestone.
A little bit of glare.
Here we are.
Tom Marone and Frankie.
Draftsman pose.
So what's up?
Nothing much.
Oh, that's good.
Look at the camera, Tom.
Where's
Hi,
Joe?
Mama.
Is Joe in today?
Huh?
Joe in today?
I don't know.
This relaxed atmosphere was only interrupted by weekly Patterson-Kelley pep talks.
Report to the stable tonight and every night at 1900 hours. And without that pledge pin! Do you understand?
One thing they never complained about was a lack of cooperation.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
This was another one of our locations. Crucible Steel owned the building. We occupied 15,000 square feet, and it was here where we manufactured our packaged plants. people that worked on some of these skids that you see now were Roger Cusack, Jolly Bambera, Joe Sereno. Bob Liebau was our purchasing agent. Bob Lanyon was project manager. And here's Jack Reynolds, our last shop foreman. George Matter was our sales manager. At this time, we had become quite well known in the industry for our engineering abilities. I believe that we were the first ones to at least promote the skid-mounted business. We had an excellent reputation in the field. Patterson Kelly took us out of the skid-mounted business at the end of 1984. And that was the beginning of the end. Tom Parker, our first shop foreman, a real gentleman. These are the offices at that location. Our estimating department and Phil Schweitzer were over here. Ken Schiffner, the inventor of the catenary grid scrubber, also was located there. Here we are getting ready to ship our final job. American cyanamide. The man in the red shirt coming up is our field manager and cameraman and commentator for this segment. Down at the location in North Carolina, Joe Marone.
box here. And for the anchor bolt location. First thing we're going to do is set up the transit, shoot the 4 corners in, and get appropriate shim packs underneath. So we got a zero leveling. Looking at it from a little different angle here. Let's see if I got this thing covered. Alright. Okay, we got our surveying team out here bright and early this morning. And as soon as we set the gun up, we're going to get the shim packs under there. And we'll be golden. Looks like we're having a little BS session down there right now, but basically we're getting the nuts off the anchor bolts. Give us a clear shot at shooting the elevations in on those corners. Okay, proof of the pudding. Here we are back to the videotape. Half hour later, we got all the shims in place. Checking our final elevations now. Okay. Corner over there, we just put our 1 inch down. About 3/8 of an inch. Added a 1/2 inch back in that corner. 1 inch over here. It's gonna be a quickie though, so I gotta go over and I gotta check that on the truck. Let's see if it's gonna come down on those anchor bolts. Look at that.
Go ahead.
Look at that, fits like socks on a chicken.
Wrong man, folks.
Up on the block there. Okay, looking good. Alright, I know you saw this before, but the damn crane is still a little bit small. We couldn't reach where it had to go, so we had to stand the piece back down on the ground, move the crane, and now we're going to try it again. You know, practice, practice, practice. Perfect. Boys there getting a free ride. I'll soon use the ladder. Shot of the entire structure on top. Plus the, maybe we can fly down some airplanes. Okay, let's guide it down through the hole. Boy, neck. Through the hole there, and in good shape. Oh! Should have had a tagline on that. That's it, huh? Don't lean over too far because I dropped my hard hat. Looks like that thing right in our lap.
Ready?
Okay, we got our match marks lined up so we know we're right. Piece of cake. What we got here is Chem-Pro system. We're just putting the vapor line on.
Well, this was the last job we did, and we were proud of it. By this time, however, Patterson-Kelley had already decided to sell or liquidate the company. This particular news was received by the remaining employees with cautious optimism. The story of Chem-Pro. When Haskell bought us, we had a backlog of over $7 million and we had 66 employees. Only 2 years later, our backlog had shrunk to $100,000 and we were down to 8 people. Any recommendations we made about the conduct of the business were not always received kindly by management. No history of Chem-Pro would be complete without at least a brief commentary on our corporate owners.